You are watching Xirtus.
When it comes to celebrity, I think we've lost touch because the point of celebrity was to celebrate, right? Like that's why it's the word is what it is. It was to celebrate the individual, to celebrate culture, and now our current celebrities are dog water. It doesn't make sense. If you ask what an influencer
Harsh,
is
but
famous
fair.
for, they have no answer. They haven't done anything to deserve celebrity. They just go on and they have a lot of views because basically it's a cult of personality. They have a personality that people are attracted to without actually having contributed anything to culture beyond, say, Twitch streaming or playing someone else's creation or commenting on someone else's creation. And it's like a feedback loop. We're having a feedback loop effect in our culture where our celebrities are people who just talk about the other stuff in our culture, and then we're just in an echo basically that's constant. So I think we need to upgrade, and we need basically to celebrate the people who are beyond the norm instead of fabricating the norm, instead of pretending that they're beyond the norm just through Hollywood deception and like cultural padding that we add to people. And
All right, let's set a baseline.
Well,
Is there any actors you actually think is like doesn't are actually good, like
Daniel
performers in
Day-Lewis.
cinema movies?
look, it depends what you
George
mean by
Bush.
good.
George W. Bush was pretty good.
Yeah, no, but you see, depends what you mean by good. If by good you mean effective at what they do, that's
He's
one thing.
believable. You'd
If
almost
you mean
believe he was actually stupid, even though he went to Yale. You know,
sure. Yeah, I mean that's it. Those are the highest level actors
Theo
in the
Vaughn.
world.
Theo Vaughn. All these people are royals. You know, myself included. I think this is the thing that's kind of weird about it. Like you look at the Theo Vaughn is. What is his deal? He seems like he's this dumb schmuck of a guy who's an everyman. Is he an
Oh, no.
everyman?
No.
What's his name? What's Theo Vaughn's name? Vaughn what? Theo Vaughn Kurnatowski.
Sure.
It says right here, he's of the Kurnatowski Śląska noble family of Poland with the
Not
freaking
surprised?
peacock feathers. Are you surprised? You shouldn't be.
Not at all. He's part. I mean, look.
He's
If
hanging
you
out
look
with
at his
Bush and Trump
backstory,
and doing yeah.
if you look at his backstory, like he was part of a cult at some point. So like he actually has seen a lot of things. He's been around. He's not a dumbass, but he
A
knows
lot
how
of
to
these
play the
celebrities
field.
are just royal people. It seems like a lot of the not just celebrities, what do you call it? Influencers. A lot of
You look.
Yeah.
influencers are noble blooded.
The thing is,
Which
the
is
thing is
interesting.
that the thing is that a lot of us, a lot of people are part of bastard bloodlines that just come from the monarchies of different countries because these people were fucking everything and they were spreading their bloodlines everywhere. Like there's a reason that story is part of our culture and it's ingrained in so many of us of the forgotten prince who comes from nowhere and he's the heir to the throne. It's because that is true. It's actually part of our culture. There were a bunch of Genghis Khans throughout history. We're all related to these grandiose figures that somewhere down the line were the evolutionary, like they were the ones that basically created an influx of generations that
Wow.
spread out into a whole bunch of trees, branches of their family tree. We're all connected, and maybe that's connected to how NPC someone is. I don't know. Like the
Wait,
more
Andrew's vibe on this because he's definitely related to slaves and kings. Go ahead.
I'm peasant
I'm
stock.
starting
for
to
sure.
see I'm starting to see the Mufasa movie in a completely different way now. As
I won't
far
see
as,
it.
like,
So
you have not seen it.
You already
I
saw
won't.
it. It's literally just the story of Moses. Go ahead.
Yeah. The adopted son actually being more powerful than the one who's born noble. Taking the noble born's place just out of because he's superior or whatever. Um, that's just really interesting for Disney to be putting something out like that, giving Mufasa that and Scar especially that kind of a backstory, like um, how maybe the villain, even though the villain might be born or like supposedly destined to succeed, that that the good-natured adopted orphan could possibly be the one who is.
I mean, the whole point is,
right.
like you said, there's a flood, right? So there's this like deluge thing, and he's the Jewish heir, right? Mufasa's the Jewish heir who takes over Egypt. It's the story. That's kind of the deal. It's Moses.
Yeah.
He's in the basket, and he ends up the main king. But that doesn't mean he doesn't come from royalty. In fact, when you think about it, all lions kind of must come from the same place. There must be like a primordial, lion. So what's it mean to
from
be
a different tribe? Which
but what is that like? Who is
it always
the different
depends.
tribe, the Jewish tribe? It's like the Unter lion and the Uber lion are still from the same lion pack at some point.
It all depends how far back you go, because every single person that's alive right now comes from an evolutionary success story. And that evolutionary success stories means that their ancestors were incredible people. It's the unincredible that don't reproduce, that fail. They become forgotten genetically. Their bloodlines get eliminated. So it is important to recognize where you actually come from. You come from thousands and thousands of years of successful evolution, of successful reproduction, of successful survival in conditions we can't even imagine. And we're trying to undersell that. And I think that's really what colonization is about. It's about removing that sort of legacy, forgetting where you're from, forgetting the actual greatness of your bloodline, and turning to this banal thing that you're just supposed to give up. And who am I? I'm just some guy who survived and my parents fucked, and that no. You come from a long chain of basically demigods.
Aggressive, horny people.
Sure. But in a sea of aggressive, horny people, heroes must rise, because the alternative is the least among us start just taking over everything. And our ancestors did survive basically against those odds.
I think we grew up in a generation
great, but terrible
of unsuccessful reproduction. I think we see lots of examples of unsuccessful reproduction, and you're just like, oh man, that's those poor children. But
sure, yeah, but those have always happened. Those have always existed, and they just don't reproduce. That's just always been the case. It's not like if it's new that there's people who are infirm or who are handicapped or any of this. This has always been the case, but now we protect them. Now we shelter them, and we must, we must basically give them as many rights as possible. Never been the case in the past, and there's consequences to that. It could be part of our ascension. It could be that learning how to treat these people with more than what we did before is a major step towards our collective ascension. But it comes with consequences. You can't glorify the handicap.
Well, regardless, I think no matter what,
instant eugenic mania.
I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite of eugenic. I'm eumemic. I believe in good memes over good genes.
It's not
what actually matters. You're right. It's more like correlated.
I think.
I never learned about Lysenkoism until just this week.
Personally, I think bloodlines are just like transit lines for souls,
Maybe.
Because they're necessary. I mean, for a soul to incarnate and have a human experience, you need to come from somewhere for physically, like a body, and for a soul to inhabit. And I think all transit lines, you're going to see flaws in it. You're going to see potholes. You're going to see cracks in the road. And it's probably up to you who use these transit lines to kind of help fix it. I think that's if there is a point to life, one thing that's on our to-do list is to try to fix some of your generational bullshit, because we all have them. We all have some generational curse that we could probably have end with us in one way or another. And I think that's probably one assignment if we're given any,
Family trees prune themselves.